We are going to be reviewing how we add and subtract decimals, because in this unit we're adding and subtracting negative decimals. So first, let's connect our fraction to a decimal. If we have 13/20ths, how do we turn that into a decimal? You can always divide, but on this one, I think there's an easier way to do it. We can multiply this by 5 to get a denominator of 100. Once we have a denominator, so here, once we multiply 65 out of 100, not a very good test score, right? This is a 65%. This one, we can't get to a denominator of 10 or 100, so this one you have to divide. We did this in our first unit. So this should be a bit of a review, right? Yep. This one, once we divide, we get 125,000.
Oh, we're supposed to do the division on the grid?
You can, or if you did the division over on the side, that's fine. Okay, so if Malachi is hiking for 2.5 miles, stops for lunch, and then hikes another 1.5 miles, more miles, how much do you hike all together? What operation do we have to do there? Addition. Exactly. Remember, when you add or subtract, just line up those decimals. Right. And add, remember, 4.0 is the same as 4 wholes. Right. Once we subtract, this is how we write it as a fraction, 604 thousandths. So if we're baking a cake, the recipe calls for 1.45 kilograms of butter. Justin added 0.71 kilograms of butter so far. How much more does he need to add? How do we figure out how much more butter he needs to add? We need to subtract here, and remember, just like our last one, just line up your decimals and do your subtraction. Just like we reviewed yesterday, right? Just like regular subtraction, right? Write that as a fraction. Show me that as a fraction. This is just 74 hundredths. Exactly. Good. So if there's 4.59 kilograms of red and green grapes, if 2.6 kilograms were red, how many were green? What do we need to do here? Subtract. We're going to subtract here. I need to regroup. Good. Once we're here, 1.99, 1 and 99 hundredths. If we're looking here, he's training 3 days a week. On Monday, Harry ran 4.5 kilograms, Wednesday 6.9, Thursday 2.4. How far had he run in total before Thursday?
4.5 plus 6.
Exactly. We're only adding Monday and Wednesday here. Okay, take a look at this one here. Good. Remember, when there's more than one operation, you're just going to follow your PEMDAS. Solve left to right. So start here. Solve this part first. Remember, do it just like we did in the last unit. Solve this part outside of your little cone there. Have a 0 up top. Solve this part first. Once you solve step A, then do step B. Okay, so look at this one here. It's a little different. The temperature increases by 4.5 degrees, right? So that's a positive 4.5. And then at night, it's decreasing by 7.5. Yeah, so we know the answer is going to have to be negative because it's dropping down. So remember, when we add and subtract positive and negative decimals, it's just like when you were doing it with our whole numbers, right? So you could do it a few ways. If you like working with fractions, you could write this, right? 4 and 5/10 minus 7 and 5/10. Or you could just think, okay, these are opposite signs. So I'm just going to go ahead and subtract here, but I know my answer is going to be negative because my temperature is dropping. My negative is bigger. So if it helps, give yourself the question without the decimal. If you just had 4 minus 7, I know that's -3. So then it reminds you, okay, I have to subtract and it's going to be negative. Take a look at this one. Try this one. So remember, just like when you had whole numbers, right? If you had -3 minus 2, you're going further in debt, so you just add them together and you would get -5. If you know you're going further in debt, just tell yourself you have to add those together. So just add your 2 together and then put your negative sign in the front. Try this one. Remember, think these are opposite signs. This is like your 4.5 feet underwater, right? And you're coming up 2 feet. So if you came up 1 feet, you'd be at 3.5. 2 feet would be -2.5. You could also think, okay, I know opposite signs. I just have to subtract, but I'm still going to be underwater, so my answer is negative. Okay, if you get stuck, make up a scenario for yourself, right? Tell yourself something that can help you know what to do to solve it. If you go into Canvas, there's an ed puzzle that's going to go over more with your negative, adding and subtracting your negative decimals. You can click through Canvas. It's F3A.4. Once you finish the ed puzzle, you're going to finish the con that we started in class yesterday.
We started a con?
Oh, actually, you guys, once you're finished with the ed puzzle, the con, remember on the con, you need 75% or higher before you move on. Then there is a math space to do.